Alright, so this is my first podcast. What's good? What's good? Much love. Hope y'all enjoy this. I basically called it random selection because, you know, the way your mind work, that's all you ever see is random shit in your mind. So it's like, at least that's what be going on in my mind. It's random. This is for my people so we can inspire each other to do different things, to keep our mind off the bullshit and the matrix that we in or whatever, and just keep it moving and elevating each other.
You are now listening to Brockman Kingy HoteP.
All I wanted to talk about today was it's a lot of things that we do in this world. A lot of people been brainwashed or, you know, or just brought up on touchy subjects that, you know, people would bash you for, but at the same time, that's not what it's about. One day, I'm just scrolling on Facebook, and I run across this feed, and this guy was talking about religion. He said, you know, but you ain't supposed to do this, and you ain't supposed to do that. And he was like, well, religion is basically, everything is based off of belief. And believe it or not, a lot of those stories that's in the Bible had came from our people, but it was put into a text where for their own political gain, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? But basically what he was saying was, he was like, yo, nobody in the Bible went by the Bible. Nobody in the Bible read the Bible. So I'm like, damn, you know, my whole life, that's all I've been around was churches and the old folks. They was all about this and all about that. And when you young and your parents teach you something or whatever, then you get sort of brainwashed into believing it. Just like Santa Claus. When you were a kid, you just thought Santa Claus was real. And that's kind of like the same concept with religion as far as the way they control your mind. You think it's a man in the sky or whatever. And if it is a man in the sky, it ain't just one. And it ain't always the man. It's women that are gods too, the goddesses. So when the guy was talking about, his name is Infudishi Juhutama. So if y'all look him up on YouTube, you'll definitely get an open eye. So that's how my journey started. You know what I mean? Like, I basically looked on his page and he was touching about things, and then like he started talking about African people and you know, how we was here first, and he basically give you self-knowledge. He basically started talking about African history, and when he was talking about it, he was telling me things that I didn't know, and how would we know that if they don't teach us that over here? So I even got baptized when I was 14, so I ain't trying to come from no Christians or come from nobody or what they believe in. You know, my thing is, it's always a situation where, okay, you believed in that once upon a time. You didn't know if that was real or fake. You had to make a decision where you want to take it for what it is. And when you take something and worship it, you know, you gotta at least know what you're dealing with. You know, some people can read you quotes from the Bible that probably their preacher put you on to, or they probably read a couple of scripts here and there, remembered it or whatever. Some of that stuff come from the hieroglyphics and the stories of our African ancestors. King James definitely was not one of our ancestors. I used to always get confused in church, like, why is it that we always got to come off some money? They always send an offering plate. That was a problem within itself. I'm like, why is we sending money? Yeah, it sounds nice that they getting tax-free money. You getting tax-free money. The government don't bother you. What is the conspiracy? Anything the government lets slide, you know it's something, it's a twist with it. When they was in church and they used to talk about certain stories or whatever, I'm like, okay, he gave me a story or whatever. It's always all over the place, you know, and every book that I done read, I always got to have you know, a way of reading it and understanding it from start to finish. Not know, oh, we're gonna bounce from here all over the place and you gotta try to figure it out. At this point, you trying to play with my mind. When I see another person that look like me, in a way, you know, I kind of get excited. Like, yeah, there go another brother, there go another goddess, there go another sister or whatever. And I'm supposed to feel safe around them. I'm supposed to get energy and be chilling. They try to say that we come from Africa. Man, we come from everywhere. We African people was all over the planet way before any other type of race. When I talk about things when it comes to African people, I'm not doing it to be an arrogant dickhead and try to tell you you don't know nothing. I'm just making sure you're aware, because I like when each one teach one. So if you know something I don't know about African people or history or whatever, then tell me, and I'm gonna tell you what I know, and we can collab together, and all together we can, as a collective, be back to the guys at mine. Just because you ain't in a jail cell don't mean you ain't a prisoner in this matrix we live in. They take you away from your natural habitat and they put you into work, free labor for 400 years. You know, if you learn how to read their language, they'll kill you. And then once they start teaching you their language, they try to tell you they smarter than you. When we the ones that used to operate off of not even using a written language. We had the hieroglyphics and everybody did what they did, but at the same time, you still got countries in Africa right now that got several different languages that they don't know, and that we can't even speak because we so busy stuck on the English language. If they tell you what to think and they tell you what to believe in, if you don't know about Kingy, you wouldn't know nothing about the 42 laws of Ma'at. And the 42 laws of Ma'at is basically where they got their 10 commandments from. When I was in church and they used to talk about things, the preacher used to always say things that they can relate, that you can relate to, and he just say God got this and God got that. Who is the God they talking about? The God supposed to be within you, not up in the sky, not for hope and glory. It's in you. When they talking about the Christ, they talking about your higher consciousness. You know what I'm saying? But yet they keep you in that same circle. They claim, even in their own religion, they claim that you can't celebrate Christmas, and people celebrate that. They be in the church with it. And it don't teach you good character. It don't teach you about a good diet. So I ain't telling people what to believe in. I'm just giving you my mindset of it, and basically what I know now, I'm gonna just talk about it so y'all can, you know what I mean, feel where I'm coming from. I don't care if it take 2 minutes out your day or 4-5 minutes, you know. Start with watching, looking up YouTube videos of the ones called Hidden Colors. Now, when I first seen Hidden Colors, it was like 9 hours, nothing but pure knowledge by all the African professors that I follow individually. At least 4-5 of them up there, I follow them, and it's a lot you can learn about yourself instead of being out here trying to determine if somebody J's fake or if Jesus coming to give you a miracle and all that. Why do you have to die to go to heaven when everybody else can have a heaven on earth? Women in general shouldn't be following a book that degrades them. You got the Father, the Son of the Father, and the Holy Ghost. Like, how y'all gonna take the woman out the equation? You want me to believe that God took they took some man rib and made a woman? What sense do that make when everybody come from a woman? How you gonna take the woman out the equation and then tell me, oh, Jesus and God is the Father? Like, what? But you ain't gonna let nobody talk about your mama. You ain't gonna let nobody disrespect your mama. So why you disrespecting her at heart when in spiritually and not respecting the feminine energy? Everything was made off of balance. This is no fairy tale bullshit where they tell you he took a man rib and made a woman. A man got an extra floating rib. Nigga, what skeleton you ever seen with a floating rib? You ain't seen no animal, no gorilla, no none of that with a floating fucking rib. What is just floating? It ain't connected to nothing. Like, look at the logic thinking of this shit. My mind ain't to be played with. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if my mama was taught that, my grandmama was taught that, my aunt was taught that, and all the ones before that. It ain't their fault that they didn't know the truth, because they didn't have access to information like we do now. You don't want to know no more knowledge about yourself? That's all you want to know is what you were told? Like, you know, so that's what I'm saying, man. You can't just tell me that I'm supposed to believe in something that never revealed itself to me, but I could look over there in Egypt and all over the world and find pyramids that was built by King HoteP himself, who designed it, and you know, and they leave evidence all over the world that they've been here, and it was here thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years before any other beings walked the planet. So since when have the Europeans gave us anything that they would like to share with us? As far as anything, we're so far gone as a culture that, you know, the damage is done. They do it with the religion. They do it with the music. They do it with any type of entertainment, anything to keep your mind off of becoming your better self or thinking. They don't teach you about credit. They don't teach you about meditating. They don't teach you about growing your own food. None of that. We not in charge of who make the laws. We ain't sitting in that room with them suggesting what laws we make. You know what I mean? The Food and Drug Administration. That's the reason why they call it the Food and Drug Administration, because you know they want you to eat their food all the way to your old until you need their drugs. You know what I mean? Just a little bit of self-knowledge of what your ancestors, the people that was here before you, what they went through, not just slavery. Slavery ain't our only history. All the history in the world is our history. You know what I'm saying? We were civilized, was burying ourselves in gold. I'm talking about deck down. I'm not living in this matrix no more. Like, you're not gonna tell me, you know, what to believe in, because I believe in what I see and experience. Because that's what life is all about. We here to procreate. We not here to just follow the fucking matrix. You know what I mean? Like, you just sitting around, you go to work every fucking day, and then first you got New Year's Day. Then you got not even 3 days later, they already got the hearts on the shelf. Go ahead, spend that goddamn Valentine's Day money. And you ain't getting, we know y'all motherfuckers trying to get some pussy. So we gonna make sure we make it a big deal. So the girls now, they so brainwashed into getting something, you know, they're like, oh no, I'm about to get another gift. No, damn well they probably just had a birthday or just got a lot of shit for Christmas. You trying to get back, you know what I'm saying? Nope. Valentine's Day, let's get it. Then after Valentine's Day, what you got next? Easter, go all out for that, spend your bread, do all that shit for that. Then what's day? Mother's Day. Yeah, that's the only holiday I respect they came up with, because I love my mama. And Father's Day too. You know what I mean? But it's beside the point. Keep it moving. Now you got Memorial Day. Go ahead and spend some bread on that day. Then you got, goddamn it, 4th of July. Spend your bread on that day. Do it up on that day. Let's go all out. Labor Day. Then after that, Halloween. Go all out for that. You know you got kids and you gotta do the costumes and all that goofy shit. Boom. After that, Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? And they all fucked up reasons why they call it a holiday. It ain't even the day that you're supposed to celebrate. It's all fucked up shit. I know the Valentine's Day, I don't know the backstory on the Valentine's Day one, but I know that it has something to do with somebody getting murdered, a couple, you know, some slaughter shit. It wasn't no love in it. I know that. Definitely ain't had nothing to do with no fucking love. And the same thing for Thanksgiving. Like, we celebrate Thanksgiving, but the whole time you celebrating the death of your ancestors. So every time you go fix that turkey, every time you go in there trying to gang up with the family and be happy and just smiling from ear to ear, everybody parlaying and shit, eating some more of that diabetic food. Oh yeah. You happy as hell they killed the fuck out of our ancestors and buried them in the lake, and whole towns buried under water. You know what I'm saying? Cities and villages, like all kinds of shit. We got real African Indians that still live out here in Louisiana and all different parts of the country. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, if y'all don't stop fucking playing and get off the bullshit worrying about attention and goddamn trying to outdo each other with dollars that ain't even fucking real. Cause if you look at that dollar, it's all rituals and curses on that motherfucker. We was excellent. Always been excellent. Everything we touch, anything you put in front of us, we magnify that shit. We blow that shit up. You know, they brought, you know, we already been doing the music thing, the dancing thing. We took over with sports, any fucking thing you challenge us with, we gonna dominate that shit, because we all gods and goddesses. Instead of believing in yourself and giving yourself credit, you giving some entity that you don't even know who the fuck that is that you celebrating. You giving that entity all the praise, and the whole time you ain't even worshiping who you think you are. You ain't worshiping who you think you are. So Come on, we gotta get it together. I understand that everybody is not gonna get where I'm coming from when it comes to certain things, because I can't wake the dead, only the ones that sleep. You know, the podcast, you know, it's gonna be random. It's gonna be stuff I talk about. Some days I ain't gonna be on some funny shit. Some days I will, but this ain't the funny shit. This is the straight, you know, telling y'all what's on my mind and where I'm at with it. So it's a reason why I do certain things. Like I keep my beads on, you know, the colors, you know, reminds me who I am and shit, and who my people is. And most people that talk to me that know me like that, I call myself King, because that's who all my brothers and sisters is. We are kings and goddesses, and ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing different, you know. Cause there's no fucking way the world can hate you just because the color of your skin. Nah, that ain't what it is. They know that we are the original man and women, and ain't nothing stopping us. We got our ancestors on our side, and we went with the universe. And what I mean by that is, once you appreciate every heartbeat, every breath, every moment, every experience, you know, each emotion, like energy and motion. That's all emotion is energy and motion. So which energy you want to be on? Whenever we get in that sun, we don't get sick like that. The only time we get sick is in the wintertime when it's cold and we always balled up, and you know, we ain't getting that sun energy. You know what I mean? And we eating meat, you know what I'm saying? Basically, you know, we weren't supposed to eat meat. And if we do, it's supposed to be very little. Like, I'm talking about barely none. Like, as much as y'all motherfuckers eat vegetables, how about that? That's how much you're supposed to eat meat. As much as y'all eat vegetables. You know what I mean? Cause, or fruit. You know what I mean? Cause, look at the gorilla, you know what I mean? Like, he got like pretty much all the DNA we got, except for a few. But that motherfucker, he bigger than us and stronger than us. Can fuck us up if he were mad. But he don't eat no goddamn meat. That motherfucker eat fruits, vegetables, grapes, berries and shit. They gonna eat like goddamn it, like he fucking coming to America, like he the fucking prince. That's how the gorilla eat. He eat like he ain't trying to have his shit stink. So we out here eating like a scavenger, like our oppressors taught us how to. They tell you to eat bacon, but when you eat bacon and shit, and I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna front, I love pork. But once I found out what it is and what it was made for, no. I'm trying to stay away from it, man. Sometimes I'm less fortunate, but I'm doing the best I can until I am the best that I can be. Yeah, pork was pork is mixed with a cat, rat, and a dog, and they took the pig and stuck him in a cage with a rattlesnake. The rattlesnake bit him, and you know, the pig ain't dropped, you know. So with that being said, then they feel like the damn pig is more poisonous than the damn rattlesnake, because it didn't drop him. At the bottom of the pig feet, it's always oozing pus. You know what I mean? And don't think because you cooked it, the parasites gone and they're dead. No, them motherfuckers can survive, bruh. That's why some people, when they get their food from a restaurant, they have maggots in it. They probably cooked their food and thought it was fresh, just like they did when they put it on the grill or whatever. How the hell they gonna see the marinade if it's still in the meat, and then they gonna cook it and gave it to somebody? It was like they can bite into it for the customer and check it out. You know what I mean? Parasites, like, you can cook that bitch, you can damn near char that motherfucker out. It'd be that 1 or 2 parasites, goddammit. Parasites is you can pretty much look at parasites the same way you would look at the common cold or sperm or some shit. You know, just that little bit can affect something. Shit get all in your colon, and then you got worms all in your colon and don't even know it. That's why you're always craving something sweet or got headaches out of nowhere. I'm all into my ancestors and representing culture, because culture is medicine. And we can't be out here walking around with a ski mask on like that's just the way to go. When you walking around with a ski mask on your head, that's telling society that you not confident in yourself. You know what I mean? You don't want to reveal yourself of the God that you are. Like, you just want to walk around looking like somebody you seen on TV. I don't want to be like nobody but me. You know what I mean? And keep elevating on a high vibration. Like, you not gonna fuck with it. Nobody. I don't give a damn who you is. Not fucking with my vibration. I'm all about peace. HoteP, they'll let me listen to their music, and it's talking about this op, that op, this bitch, this nigga, da 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 da, and you know what they want to do to him and all that crazy shit. Like, nah, man. Don't nobody want to do that to their, you know, to their culture, man. We the only race that got music that, you know, degrades culture and bash each other as a sport or entertainment. We the only culture that do that. I ain't never heard no Japanese diss song. I ain't never heard no goddamn no Hispanic diss song. All them parlay with each other. It ain't no competition, because they know they love each other and they appreciate their culture. You can't live like somebody else wants you to. Like, oh, you gotta do this. Your goal should be, oh, you got to go get this, buy a house, blah, blah, blah. All that material shit is just to distract you from who you are and what you really need to be doing and making a difference in this lifetime. That's why when you croak and you leave this realm and you think you're supposed to go into the light, they're gonna trap your soul and make you come right back here. You know what I mean? Because you ain't do nothing in this lifetime, or you ain't meet your calling. Like, you ain't find out what it was in life that you should be doing and learning from this experience. Y'all worrying about going to a heaven or hell. Shit, we already in here. You know? That's why when you raise your level of consciousness, you will be in heaven, because nothing can touch you. Everywhere you go is peace. You know, can't nothing bother you, can't nothing get to you. You ain't worrying about time or paying this or buying that. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't worried about none of that. You in heaven then.
All right, what's going on out there in podcast land? This is your man B. I'm new to this podcast thing. We are starting, well, my owner, operator, and host of this podcast, started this podcast to broaden people's horizons and spectrums on Afro-American issues. Not saying that this information can't be used or distributed to other ethnicities, but we are dealing with strictly for Afro-American men and women. What we're doing today is we have a couple of books that we're going to go through dealing with the topic of mental health. The first book that we have here is a mental health workbook. It's by David Khalil. If I'm pronouncing his name wrong, I apologize. But this is a great book. I've been thumbing through it, and it has a lot of section by section. Every time you complete a chapter, there is a workbook or a type of task that you have to do to reflect on what you already learned or read. And it's really, like I said, it's really detrimental to men, especially African American men, that we find avenues to discuss our mental health, to understand it, and to figure out the psychological backgrounds behind those things. So this is a great read for all those out there in podcast land. If you want a good book, especially if you're an Afro-American male and you're dealing with mental issues, as we all are day to day, this is a good book for you to thumb through. You can use it religiously as a Bible, and like I said, the work pages after every essay are guaranteed to help you reflect and to give you a better understanding the more you go back through it. So this is a good find as well. The next book that we're going to talk about, as you see, I have a bookmark in it because I've been just cracking the surface, is Anger Management for Men, and this is by Aaron Carmen. So this is also a good workbook that You can order both. These are on Amazon books. You can get this book, and this deals with your anger management, because like I said, in this day and time that we have a lot of people dealing with mental health and anger management, which causes them to lash out and have episodes that would affect their input or output into society. So we definitely have to get these two issues under control, because they go hand in hand, and like I said, it's very detrimental as men of African, descent, that we find ways to tackle mental health and anger management, so that we as a people can move forward and we can help to diffuse some of this tension between not only the other ethnic groups, but between ourselves.
I want the sisters to understand, this go for y'all too. Y'all play a big role in our mental health. Exactly. Us black men don't have nobody in our corner in this world in this day of time. So if anything, all we have is y'all left. So we can't just always run with the trend or whatever you want to call it, of them thinking that y'all don't need a man. Yo, we need y'all just like y'all need us. And without y'all in our life, we won't have balance. So that's what life is about, balance. So of course it's chaos when the sister, the goddess that was made for us is against us now.
Right.
And they find every reason to run with bashing us, but it's not okay for us to bash y'all. We can't keep doing that. We need love just like everybody else need love. And what a man in this world is not allowed, especially a black man, he's not allowed to have feelings. He's supposed to be hard all the time and always stand on business. Right. Nobody asks us is we doing all right, or what we got going on our mind, or everything will be okay. Without the woman's wisdom and her balance and her nurturement, a man can't be him for himself.
That's the thing about it. Yeah. That's what most people don't understand. The woman is the nurturer, but in the beginning, the woman is the first teacher of the child. So therefore, whether it's a male or female, the woman is still the first teacher, is the first person that this new being will be interfacing with and dealing with directly for the period of their lifespan. So depending on what type of woman is raising the child or rendering the child, then you will see the fruits start to develop, or you will see them diminish. So, like I said, women are very vital to not only a physical and biological standpoint, but also an emotional and mental standpoint.
Because a woman know you, a person know you better than you know yourself sometimes. So if you be with the person you're supposed to be with, which is a woman, if you're a black male,
right?
You're supposed to be with a woman because she's supposed to be your better half. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She's the feminine energy, you the masculine energy.
Right.
And the reason why it's not working these days because the women is trying to take over the masculine energy, and they don't want to be in the true nature of themselves. They trying to be influenced by a negative energy that comes through the music and the media or whatever.
Right.
Even through all that, we still have to respect the African woman because everything comes from her. Anything they touch, whether it's negative, whether it's ignorant, they still multiply and magnitude that thing. Like, they still gonna get the attention because they are the true goddesses. So anything that they do gonna pull whoever.
Right.
So that's the reason why we still gotta do our part to respect our women, and the women gotta give us something to respect. But we can't tell them how to get there because as a woman, they supposed to be making sure we good and keeping everything balanced. So the black men, whatever it takes for you to meditate and keep your head straight, always try to learn something new every day.
Right.
Don't do the same thing every day if it ain't lucrative or if it's not something that's keeping you level-headed and somebody can benefit on it moving forward. That's what life is about, experiencing the reality and procreate. So we can't create positivity if we always entertain negativity. You know what I mean? You can't have your yin without the yang, but at the same time, you can't just stick to the yang. Sometimes you gotta have that yin.
Right.
And because there's certain cultures in all around the country. Cause everywhere you go in the world, you can see some dark-skinned people there because they was there first.
Right.
It only makes sense, And so we got to get out of that concept or the narrative that y'all don't need us because y'all do, and we need y'all. So what would happen one day if all the black men in the world disappear for like a week or so? How you think that's gonna be?
Right.
There's gonna be a lot of shit being done or need to be done that ain't gonna be done because we don't got so comfortable until what was presented to us instead of what we do as an independence or as a culture.
Yeah.
You know, to me, the idea of success is not having a house and able to pay my bills. No, independent success is when you don't have to go nowhere for nothing you need in the means of living your life.
Right.
So you don't have to go to a grocery store because you grow your food.
Exactly.
You don't have to buy a house because you spent the last 10 years building
your
it.
house.
Your
Right.
community, your family, y'all all got together and y'all put y'all heads together and made it work to y'all comfort. All y'all need is the land and the peace, and you can live your life without depending on the government or whatever the case may be. Now you might want to have some electricity, but you can get solar panels and they'll pay you for reducing the energy. So it's always a way that you can be independent without having to prove that you got this status or whatever you want to call it.
Right. People are caught up in trying to, quote unquote, keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
And what they need to realize is that the Joneses don't even keep up with the Joneses. Everyone beats to their own drum, but as a whole, there's only one or two actual ways that people think.
Yeah.
Either they're for something or they're against something. There's no medium, there's nothing in between. And that's what we're trying to have, the people that's in between that thinks about, that ask the question, well, why don't you like this? And why do you like this?
Yeah.
Like we need those type of thinkers. And they're trying to eliminate those type of thinkers. Like they want you to either be with something or against something. Like they don't want you to have just to take something in and mull it over and, you know what I'm saying, analyze it and draw your own conclusion. They don't want thinkers.
So on that note, B talked about, you know, some of the books he got started on, and I'm gonna show y'all some books that I got that I need to stop fronting and get to them because, you know, it's never too much time to learn something. So this book right here is called Comedic Diet. I got it off of Amazon. And it got a 30-day detoxification program. It got everything you need that you're supposed to have.
Right.
It's called the Comedic Diet. And then Bobby Hemmett, he one of the guys that's an African professor. He real deep. He got a lot of videos out there on YouTube or whatnot. He mentioned the book called The Egyptian Book of the Dead. And this basically tells you the deity part of certain things. Right. And it basically going, you know, break down in detail on the cycle of life to this realm or whatever realm, and it get into depth with that, and it got some hieroglyphics on it. Right. This right here is called the Egyptian mythology. Egyptian mythology. And then I just purchased this one. I kind of really want to get into this because to this day, our people are still celebrating holidays that was definitely not meant for y'all to be celebrating.
The pagan holidays.
They pagan holidays, and a lot of them got something to do with killing our ancestors and indigenous people. So, you know, before you keep running and saying that, oh, that's all you was taught, well, it's not your fault that you was passed down misled information.
But it is your fault if you stay ignorant.
Yes. So, you know, it's not wrong to be like, oh, what does that stand for? Break that down to me and let me see where that come from.
But I also tell you that a lot of people are not going to get information, so this is the year of enlightenment. Yeah. This is the year where you have to be self-searching for information. Like I said, you have to take your mental, physical, and spiritual, especially your spiritual, you have to take that very serious because we are at war. There are powers, unbeknownst to people, that are trying to destroy this realm on many levels. Like I said, we're being attacked from all sides every day by the things we drink, eat, things we use to entertain us, information that we take in, whether it be falsified or whatever.
When they forcing you to learn in a system of, they don't want you to be thinkers.
I'm about to say, when the system's not even designed for you to even achieve what they say the system is made for you to achieve. Like I said, the system was not, when they came up with the Constitution, Bill of Rights, all these documents, they did not have black people in mind.
No, they did not. And then you got to understand, they want people that look like us making the rules and writing it. So that's the same thing for your education system. Like, we was geniuses, and our ancestors still got their proof out there to this day. What culture or what type of a people that you know of other than African people where they over there digging up and discovering so much about us still to this day? They still scraping up things. They got so much of our stolen gold and monuments and statues. They got all that buried away and hiding from you. And then certain countries do show it. They just ain't gonna tell you about them countries because they don't want you to go over there and look at it and check it out.
Exactly.
You know, Europe was even named after an African woman. I think her name was Europea.
Or she was supposed to have been a Greek goddess, but we all know the Greeks come from the Moors. The Moors the one taught them about astrology and astronomy and geology, all these type of things. So everything that the Romans were so-called quote unquote known for, it came from African teachers in Kemet, Kush, which is now known as Ethiopia. Yeah, Upper
and Lower Kemet.
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus. I just got this book.
Let's talk about this guy.
And you know, it's interesting story. It's a book.
Sham.
It was written by John. I know, right? It was written, and this is a holiday that they still celebrate every year to this day, and that proves that it's still a problem. It's still racism. It's still white supremacy. It's still whatever it is that's against us and not us thriving.
Right.
So this is called Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust: Slavery and the Rise of European Capitalism. Written by John Henry Clark and Forward Leonard Jeffries, preface Edward Scobie. It's about $10, $11 at
Amazon book.
Yeah, on Amazon, and it's basically, you know, it basically talks about our Holocaust. It said it is our Holocaust because this is a Holocaust that started 500 years ago and is not over. We do not start our count at 6 million. We start at 60 million, and we have just begun to count. Now, I don't mean to negate the German and the European Holocaust, whether the number was 6 or 60 million, even if it was wrong, but it was a problem started in Europe by the Europeans. There is no comparison between this tragedy and our tragedy, which was the greatest crime in history of the world.
Right.
Why haven't we memorialized our dead? It's almost like the crime of not burying them.
Yeah.
So
this is what is not talked about. Like I said, do you understand that as many slaves as they quote unquote brought to the Americas, you know how many were actually killed on land, thrown overboard, drowned, tortured, motherfucking mutilated, that never even got on the boat?
Yeah, it was so bad that the sharks used to follow the boats every time they came over here. The sharks used to follow the boats on how many people was getting thrown overboard.
Right.
You know, they talk about that bullshit with Hitler, and they try to make that a big deal. They ain't gonna forget that. They gonna make a big deal about that. But they don't understand everything as far as history is our history, because we was here first. We the reason why a lot of things transpired, you know what I'm saying, is because we allowed certain things to happen that shouldn't have happened due to experiments of Yakub. He the motherfucker, there's the reason why we still going through it to this day. I feel like that's the biggest curse that we ever witnessed in our own eyes, if people knew about it. You know what I mean? Right now we can go over there and witness our creation that was here that nobody still can figure out to this day.
Right.
We had civilizations that was well put together, well unified.
Like I said, this is what people don't understand. Just like I always talk about, they find all these statues in Central America and in the Amazon and the rainforest. They find all these temples, overgrown, everything. You have to understand, these places were heavily populated before the Europeans came with their diseases.
Yes.
These people had never encountered smallpox. Or foot and mouth disease. Or motherfucking malaria. So their virgin immune systems, which had never encountered these diseases, in this mass number, because they were coming by the boatload.
Yeah. That's where chickenpox come from. They used to and raise their lives.
When Rome fell, all these Caucasians resorted back to their Viking and Neanderthal heritage and started to, like you said, having the animals with them. They would lay with the animals. There wasn't any running water. like I said, they didn't have any type of ways to sanitize themselves. But then the Moors came. That's what they call the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
Which is documented in their social history, which they taught us. So it was funny when I used to hear them talk about, the Black Plague and the Dark Age and everything. That was when Rome fell, and you resorted back to your Neanderthal because your whole way of society had crumbled.
Yep.
Meanwhile, over in Africa, in Upper and Lower Kemet, you have Moors teaching astrology, mathematics,
science,
all these different new things, and they brought them from Africa and spread them to the other parts of the world.
Yeah.
So therefore, you had people from Rome at the time coming to Egypt to learn.
Yeah. But the crazy part is, that's why the 48 laws of power, you can't outshine the master but don't tell your every move, because the way that went was we trusted them and took them under our wing and thought that things were gonna be peaceful because that's just how we move. But the whole time we were just giving them the energy to take over.
Giving them the ammunition.
Yeah, we showed them how to kill us, because the only way you want to conquer somebody, you gotta know how they operate. So why am I paying? I'm paying mentally my time, my energy, and then my physical, because I gotta physically go to work just to make your money with your face on it, for me to live in a comfortable environment according to this country's standards.
Exactly.
And you got people over there that look like me in the jungle, and you can go ask one of their little 7-year-old kids, and they got a higher IQ than somebody with a PhD.
Exactly.
They can look at a plant and tell you what that plant do, what it's good for,
what it ain't good for.
Exactly.
Its medicinal uses for it and everything.
Yeah.
And they're walking without the so-called, what we consider clothes and suitable attire. They're in there walking around with nothing on.
Yeah, and just a couple of leaves or some shit they put together just by
makeshift.
Yeah.
And they're healthy, immune system healthy. They're stronger than we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That man is free. Like the guy even said over there in Africa, he was like, look, man, he said, I feel sorry for the people, because you got several places that can give you a free citizenship to go live over there. So if you get your money up right or whatever, and you really want to switch the game up and go see what that air feel like to breathe it in, and actually free your mind and actually get off this sickness that we living in, because we basically living in hell. If you want to come over here, you're gonna get your toys and your pieces, but you're gonna live in hell for it.
Yeah.
But over there, you got motherfuckers that still living. You got the pretty houses. If you want to look at something and you want to be fancy, you got the decked out marble, the whole crib marbled out. It ain't just a countertop. No, the whole floor where you walk, everything is concrete and marble. You know what I mean? They don't talk about that. They just want to show you where the poor people are in there that's still down to earth, that's living in the mud and the sticks, and gotta get it how they live.
Right.
But no, Africa is bigger than almost every country that you can think of.
Yeah,
like you can fit so many different countries in Africa.
I'm about to say the map they show you is very, very skewed. They have continents that are supposed to be the size of Africa or a little bit larger, but Africa is one of the biggest continents on this top of the hemisphere.
Alright, so just to give y'all something different, you know what I'm saying, because I know you can't wake the dead, you can only wake the ones that sleep. So what we'll do is, we'll talk about things that people can relate to or they know about. But like I said, on my podcast, I'm gonna always bring up some type of self-knowledge or some type of influence for y'all to like actually think and not just go off of what somebody told you and shit. You know what I mean? And, Omar Johnson always argued that we need our own neighborhoods, our own schools, our own lawyers, our own doctors, our own food source, our own source of information, whatever you want to call it. That's the only way we see. It was better when we were separated.
Yeah.
When we got with them and everybody mixed in together and we just went off of their curriculum. Like, it's crazy how they had schools and learning systems even through slavery. And back then when you was a slave, you weren't allowed to read.
No, you can die for learning.
Yeah, right. You weren't allowed to read. You talk to that man like you know something, he gonna beat the shit out. He gonna take your ass out there in front of everybody.
You can lose your life for showing that you had any signs of intelligence whatsoever. besides knowing how to do manual labor.
or whatever.
I remember the white one.
So then goddamn, it was this big ass dog. He was like over there around the street and shit. So goddamn, I see the dog. He look at me. I got some Chinese food in my hand, cause you know you gonna be hungry as a bitch. Goddamn, after loading them trucks and shit.
Right.
So goddamn, I see the dog. He see me. He look. I'm like, oh shit. So I turn around like, man, I'm just going back to the crib. See, I get my mama to take me to work or whatever. Just see if this dog just go another way. That motherfucker kept following me. So I'm like, oh shit. So I pick up the speed. That nigga started picking up the speed. I'm like, god damn. So I get to the crib, right? And he started closing in on me. He like, yeah. You ain't going nowhere, nigga. Look, man, so I get up to the door and shit. I cannot get the key in that joint in time. I'm in that joint. The dog come all the way up to the deck. I was like, you better back up. And that nigga stopped. And then I just opened the door and went in the crib. I was like, oh hell no. At least he did stop. Cause he had me, dog.
Yeah.
He had me. Yeah. Man, hey look, I remember one day when I first went to Cali, I got down, went to the dispensary or whatever, and I got some edibles and shit. Tried them out.
Shit was rocking.
So I was shook because I know in the airport, you know what I'm saying, I ain't know how they felt about, you know, having stuff like that. So I dumped them all out in my bag. I got panicked at the last moment because my junk had a weed symbol on the can, on the thing that the chocolate edibles is in. I'm like, oh no, they see that, they be like, oh no, bring your ass here, K-Dines and shit. Cause some airports got dogs. But anyway, going to jump, and got down right before I turned the rental in, I was like, fuck it. Quick panic, I dumped everything in my bag. I took two, when I got through TSA, the security people, once I got through there and found my gate, I'm like, oh shit, they ain't bothering me. So I ate two of the 100 milligram gummies. Boom, knocked them down. I'm like, yeah, shit ain't for me, cool. They called me for the plane, like start board. I'm like, oh shit, got excited. Popped 3 more of the chocolate jumps. Boy, that shit was crazy. Like, alright, so when the plane took off, right before the plane took off, and that was the smoothest plane I ever rode on. That shit felt like a caddy in the air, yo. But so it was this big lady and her husband and shit. It was a 3-row jump. So I'm at the window like this, and I see them over there. So she's sitting next to me. She complaining to him being worse. I want them seats up there. Ain't nobody sitting there. He was like, we ain't pay for them seats.
Right,
so
you got someone to fuck the damn tickets, right, bitch?
Yeah, so goddamn it. So plane took off and shit.
Got that type of money.
Yeah. So the jump started kicking in. My body felt like it's leaving itself and shit. I'm like, oh, I couldn't control my shit. So goddamn, the plane took off. I felt it pull when it went up. When the jump went up, I looked down. I said, damn, how we get up that quick? Like, I'm thinking to myself, and this at night going over Cali, so you know that shit was a crazy view.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there looking and shit going, turning over and shit. So goddamn, in mid-air, it got to a point where I couldn't control my body. Like, I felt like I was gonna go crazy, because for one, the lady was kind of thick, you know what I mean? So she was kind of holding up all the, you know, the area and shit. And I'm over here bunched up in the seat. I'm looking out the window and shit. But I couldn't control my body, so I'm trying to like get comfortable and feel like I got control, want nothing working. So then I blacked out. Then when I woke up, the lady and the dude were gone. I guess they somehow got their way. They dipped off and shit. Them edibles, yo. I can't fuck with them, yo. Fucking with them edibles. So this pretty much wraps up the first podcast. I hope y'all found a lot of this message inspirational. I know I was all over the place or whatnot, but things gonna get better, and there's gonna be a lot more where that come from. Each day, make sure you learn something new, and if you like this video and it gave you some type of motivation, then make sure you like and subscribe to my videos on YouTube, and check me out on all the social media platforms, and support another king as I will support you. And also, if you guys want to come up here and help support and bring up some questions and some knowledge that you know of, or knowledge that you want to share, if you just want to give your input on it, you're more than welcome. Just hit me up. I work with you if you work with me. So may all my people wake up and live their day-to-day life with high vibrations and peace. HoteP, Ashe.